right, we're back. More G.I. Joe, like I said. So this episode is a little weird because some of these are essentially almost the same figure, and the other three are just repaints. Even though, you know, some of the repaints, the original figures aren't out yet. Whatever. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this is where we're at for the G.I. Joe mass unboxings. We're on episode 5, Cinco. And so again, we're jumping around just a little bit. So we got Outback with the Tiger Force variant at 39. 40 we already did. 40 was Duke with the Tiger Force Duke with the Ram cycle, which I did in, I don't know, I think like the first video because I don't have the normal Duke, so I did that already. Then we have a couple of the Python Patrol guys. So we have the Bat and the Viper. And I don't have a regular Viper, so this is the only Viper I have. I don't have the 3-pack yet either. So there's going to be a whole new figure to me, although I know it's obviously a repaint. The first Viper was Cobra Island branded, I think, and it was exclusive at some store. I think that was Target, and that's why I never got it. And then 43, I'm also missing too, Dr. Mindbender. And Dr. Mindbender, I have paid for on Hasbro Pulse, and it's been pre-ordered for a long time, and it still has not shipped. It keeps getting pushed back and pushed back, so I don't know what's going on with that, but eventually I will have a Dr. Mindbender. And then we have the twins, Xamot and Tomax, which are essentially the same figures, just reversed. That's why I wanted to put them in the same lot. So lot 5 for G.I. Joe. These are the 5 figures we're going to look at. Let's open them up. Let's check them out. Let's enjoy our plastic together. All right, first figure up is Stuart, Outback, Selkirk, which is number 39 in the series. And this came out before his regular version. Obviously, I'm more familiar with Outback from his regular version with the white survival shirt and, you know, the ginger hair, the red hair. But this version was the Target exclusive Tiger Force variant. All the Tiger Force variants were Target exclusives as far as I know. And they released this first, before the regular version came out to the mass markets. And I did not have this figure growing up, because this figure actually came out, at least the Tiger Force variant came out, like probably way after I stopped playing with G.I. Joes, because that we're talking like series, I think it said series 32 was the Tiger Force variant in 2016, I believe. And obviously that's what this is based on. The original figure came out in 87. It was one of the lines in 87. And I did not have either one growing up, so I have no attachment to this at all. But I do know who he is from, you know, the show and the comic book. So just like some of the other figures in the series, this is going to be a new figure to me. So, you know, this is obviously the normal G.I. Joe box. You got the art on here. It's a weird sort of like charcoal-like style. And, you know, it's different. I like it. I've described the boxes multiple times before that I really like the boxes and the art on them. So it's no exception. It's a different style, right? So you might not like it, but, you know, I like it. Like first side, you got an extended art. He's 39 in the series, and obviously, you know, he's an outdoor specialist, Outback, you know, like the Australian Outback. So what we have here is light weapons, this is jungle, and this is desert combat. So he's good at all the different environments. Can't find this icon because, you know, Hasbro's dumb. Even the QR codes on the newer G.I. Joes, all they do is take you to the store so you can buy more stuff. They don't... It's got the icons and a QR code there, and that's what the QR code does. So go figure. I mean, I guess Hasbro doesn't want us to know what some of these are, but you know, what can you do? All right, next up is the Python Patrol Bat, which as far as I can tell, there was not an old version of this. This is a completely new repaint for the Classified series line, which is the first time that it's happened. As far as I can tell, unless I'm crazy, but I definitely don't remember a Python Patrol Bat when I was younger, and based on my research online, it doesn't look like there was one. So this is a whole new thing. And to be quite honest, Bat is one of my favorite G.I. Joe Classified figures. So I do have this, I do have the Crimson Bat that will open in a couple more episodes, and I'm in love with the Arctic Bat. Bat's probably my favorite figure in the whole series so far, I've decided, believe it or not. So obviously this is all the same, just a new repaint. So we'll compare it to the first one and stuff. But you know, it's cool to have, you know, the Python Patrol stuff. The color scheme looks pretty good, but you know, we'll see it out of the package. And going back to the package, obviously you have the art right there on the front, which I love. On the side, you have the full body art on the side, Python Patrol logo down there. He's number 41 in the series. Got the same symbol that Outback had. Energy weapons, hand, and siege. Remember when we talked about the first bat? They would typically be the first in because they're androids, right? So they're really good at just, let's throw 1,000 of them and try to siege some. So that's what they did, siege stuff, right? And then we got the Cobra Viper. Like I said, I missed out on the first Cobra Viper, so it's cool to finally have one. We'll see how the paint job is when I get him out of the box. But, Viper is one of those classic designs, and there was a Python Patrol Viper back in the days. It was actually only the second version of the Viper from 1989, which is Series 8. And I did not have this growing up. I think maybe along the line I had a regular Viper, but I definitely did not have the Python Patrol Viper. So we'll see how he stacks up. So again, we've got the name down there. We've got the art on the front. More art on the side with all the different Vipers. This almost looks like, the art for the 3-pack right there. It's got 3 different Vipers. I don't see a Python Patrol label or logo like the back, but, it is right there on the front. And he's 42 in the series. He's a foot soldier. He's a grunt, Cobra Vipers. They're a dime a dozen. Light weapons again, hand-to-hand combat. And this is a relatively new one. This is night combat. So obviously these guys probably do specialize in night combat because they have the visors. There's probably night vision in them of some sort. I never understood why they have these goggles though. Because if they have a night vision visor, why do they need goggles too? It doesn't make sense. But, that's suspend your disbelief, I guess. That is the Cobra Viper with double glasses. And then we're going to look at the twins together, Xamot and Tomax. I did not have these when I was a kid. They came out in Series 4 in 1985, and these are based on the very first version of them, which I did not have a kid, but I did know people that had them, and I was so jealous. I actually wanted these guys so bad. Because they were in the cartoon quite a lot. That's where I know them from, the cartoon, more than the comic book. And I don't know, in my little infantile head, they were really cool to me because they would finish each other's sentences and stuff like that. Some silly little things like that kids like, okay? So, they're twins and they're sort of opposite. Meaning, there's one asymmetrical thing about their uniform typically, and you can even tell with the arts right there, right? Arts? Is that the right word? With both arts? You can tell that they're, 2 pieces of a whole. Right, go to the first side of the box. Obviously, the picture goes together. Get it? So that's pretty cool. I definitely like that. I like the art. I love how, they comboed it together. Maybe it should have been a 2-pack. I don't know originally, but, it's pretty cool. And they're 44, 45 in the series. Leader. They were always in the inner Cobra leadership circle. Not that they did much, really. But they were definitely there in the leadership circle with Cobra Commander, Destro, and all them. So they are a leader in some sense. They're good at hand-to-hand combat, black market deals, obviously, and coercion. So almost the same stuff as Destro, other than weapon development. But yes, they were 2 of the semi-Cobra leaders. So it's definitely cool to have them, finally. My little inner kid can stop being jealous. And hopefully, they're just as cool coming out of the box. Alright, it's time to get them all open. Alright, a little bit of a mixed bag with Outback so far. The big improvement from the old figure is the thing staring you right in the face, the tiger head. If you look at the old figure, man, it's like the worst tiger. I don't know. He looks like an orange Kool-Aid man almost. It's laughably bad. So there's an actual real tiger that you can actually tell that's a tiger on the shirt. So that's a cool improvement for sure. And like I said before, I remember Outback as being a redhead. That's what most of the pictures I'm going to show are. But obviously, he did go through this phase where, he was older. He had the gray hair on, So if this is your Outback, more power to you. But I remember him with the classic white shirt and the survival, which is actually, as of releasing this video, that figure is out now. But I do think the overall aesthetic of the figure really fits into what Outback is, which is, a survival specialist in deserts and jungles. He can forage for food, he can camp out and live a long time by eating worms and bird poop and stuff like that. And that's definitely the vibe you get from this figure. The big thing that I think is a negative here is there's a lot of reuse here. Everything from the neck down is almost reuse. The boots are somebody, the legs are somebody, because again, it's got the pockets behind these pouches, right? Which doesn't make sense if this wasn't reuse. So even though if I can't pinpoint exactly where the reuse is, this is definitely reuse everything. Because even you know, the mid section here, he's got a belt behind this belt, which doesn't make sense. So this belt was meant to sort of cover up that belt. Like, why would you have two belts? But so that means this is reused from someone else too. I know the arms, these are the same arms that Rock and Roll had, which Rock and Roll obviously came out way after this figure, but I did a video about him already, and these sleeves are the same as Rock and Roll. So I'm sure they're reused somewhere else too. And maybe I don't have the figure or something like that. And, you know, the chest is completely plain too. So everything from the neck down, other than these, you know, extra pieces right here, this is all reuse. It's all reuse. And they're going to reuse it again. They reused it again with the normal, you know, redhead Outback. But anyways, let's just talk about the figure. Reuse is reuse in the action figure world. It is what it is, right? So let's stay on topic. Stay on this figure. So G.I. Joe articulation for these videos, I don't go over a lot. He articulates exactly like the rest of them. There is, you can't see them from here, but there is butterfly joints. So he does have the butterfly joints. You know, he's got the biceps swivel, or whatever you want to call it. You know, double elbows, double knees. Maybe there's a production error with this or something, but my knees are like, you could almost bend his leg forward because this gap is way too big. Like, these kneecaps looks like someone else's kneecaps, but flipped upside down. I wonder if that was really what they did. And so it makes it like not line up right. Like, look at that. You can almost bend his leg forward. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's the first figure I've noticed that's been like that. So, you know, there's a lot of reuse here. There could be some production issues. I do like this color scheme for Outback, even though the white shirt is more iconic to me. And I do like the face, and, you know, notable exceptions, like, you know, Falcon. All the head sculpts for the G.I. Joe Classified series have been awesome, and I do think this one is very awesome. It does have, you know, a little bit of a darker, you know, tone to the top and the beard as it goes around. He does have the blue bandana, which I believe this is accurate to his Tiger Force figure. And I definitely like the color scheme. I like the better tiger right there. I didn't have him when I was little, so I'm not super attached to him, but I definitely remember him a lot from back in the day. So again, it's good to have him. And I don't know, I think it looks fairly good. I'm a little bit mad about this, you know, the kneecaps and stuff like that and all the reuse, but you know, it is what it is. So it was you know, a repaint of a repaint of a repaint of a repaint. One note on the arms that I really do like with the paint job is I actually gave him, see if I can get the camera to focus in on that. They gave him, you know, some fur, some hair on his arm, which is kind of cool. I don't think I've seen a G.I. Joe with, you know, hair on his arm before. So he's a hairy, burly, you know, Australian man. And his accessories look pretty great. Like, especially the backpack. The sculpt work and everything really looks like the backpack he originally came with, his Tiger Force variant. The backpacks are one of my sort of pet peeves about the Classified series so far, because these pegs don't seem to stay in very well. I wish they would think of a better system than that for these, because they all just pop off eventually. But anyways, this definitely looks like his original backpack he came with, and a few of his accessories are complete, you know, homages to the original figure, which I really like. The original Tiger Force figure. And some from the original figure, we'll see. But anyways, backpack is just one tone. It's weird coming from a newer figure to an older figure again, because we're back to the world of them not doing any paint accents on stuff, where nowadays they're starting to do some paint accents on accessories, which is really cool. So obviously this is like a survival style backpack that you'll need if you're, you know, you're climbing through, you know, the wilderness, the jungle, the desert. Hello, my name is Shovel. Anyways, he has a cool shovel here. It's there's no paint accents, right? But it's a unique sculpt as far as I know. So, you know, if you're working in the desert or jungle, you know, you need a shovel to bury your poop, so no one can track you by the scent of your feces. So that's what this is for. Another accessory is this cool little binocular thing, like periscope, I guess you could say. Maybe it's a flashlight or something, I don't really know. I think his original figure maybe it came with something like this. Unique sculpt, but there's no details, so it's pretty plain. Alright, handgun and a knife. I'm pretty sure this knife is not a unique sculpt. I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. The gun, maybe it's a unique sculpt. I don't remember a painted on handle like that with anything so far, but I could be wrong. But obviously everyone in the G.I. Joe Classified line needs a knife and a handgun, so he's got those. The last accessory is this automatic rifle, which is ballin' to me. I think it's amazing because this looks almost straight like his original gun that his Tiger Force figure came with. It does have an ammo clip too, separate ammo clip in the package. Put it in there. Now he's locked and loaded. So I'll put the, his old gun on there. It looks very similar to that. So this is a cool homage to the original figure. Right, the gun and the shovel do fit on the backpack in those holes right there, or those pegs, sorry, right there. I don't know, how good that looks, but, it does fit on the package if you want to have him go with nothing in his hands. And then everything else, knife, periscope / flashlight, handgun right there. This is probably a flashlight, so he can shine it, as he's walking or whatever. Yeah, I mean, once you get all the gear on him, I'm really liking the figure. Like, he looks very cool. He looks very, he fits the line's aesthetic. He's, an update to the original figure. There's some production things with the knee, but looking at him, I can tell that this is Outback with my limited knowledge of Outback still. So he's definitely a good addition to the line, even though, this variant is not the most exciting for me. It's definitely an upgrade from, especially that old Tiger. Right, so obviously Mr. Python Patrol Bat is the exact same as regular Bat, all the sculpt work and everything. The only thing that's different is the paint job. But one thing I didn't even notice, and it didn't even dawn on me, I don't know how I didn't notice, but the Python Patrol Bat doesn't come with any damaged pieces. So no damaged head and no damaged like armor guard right here, like the original Bat does, which is how I like to display my original Bat, with that's the damaged head and the damaged chest piece. I guess they decided not to put those in, cost reasons, because, they're repainting and reusing everything else. I don't know. But, I do like how the black and the yellows pop. I'm not a super big fan of this paint scheme. I think they definitely could have done more with this. Like, I think the biggest Python Patrol design choice that I like when I've seen stuff from back in the day and stuff is the sort of scale pattern. So I wish they could have put it on here at least somewhere, you know what I mean? We're going to go over the accessories real quick, but the one thing I do like more than the original Bat about this is sort of the chest piece on the original. It was very, very plain. It was just straight black. There was no Cobra logo or anything on it. So this one at least has, the Python Patrol logo on it. So I definitely think that looks better than the original figure, if that makes sense. And I've said before, the Bat is probably my favorite figure in the series so far. The original one. I love it, love it, love it. So it's cool to have another Bat. Paint job doesn't necessarily 100% do it for me. I don't really like this sort of puke red, this maroon dark red. I don't know. Like, I like the blacks and the yellows and the gray. This red, I wish that was a little bit different. But that's my only sort of gripe about this one. So obviously I'm not going to go over articulation and stuff. If you want to see the Bat more in depth, you can check out my last video. But we'll take a peek at the accessories real quick, even though they're the same accessories as the first time. The real big difference here, obviously, is just the paint job and this crest. So it does come with the same backpack, and this is the classic Bat backpack that I absolutely adore. I actually really love this backpack. And this is actually an improvement from the original Bat figure because this hose is actually painted. On the original figure, it's just one tone. So this is actually an improvement on the first figure. So one accessory down, one improvement. Let's go. The handgun is obviously the same handgun too, but it's black instead of gray. And it does have that yellow accent on the handle. So the gun, they actually gave a paint accent too, which is pretty cool in, the repaint world. And I guess that's why we didn't get battle damage parts. Because, they had someone stand there and paint these suckers on the assembly line. And then the rest of his robot parts or assorted hands are all the same. This hose thing, whatever it shoots out, chemical thing, does have two tones to it. They did paint the top of it, so it's a little bit different, but essentially these are the same accessories that came with the first Bat. And, they're good accessories, so I'm not downplaying them, but this is a repaint, so we have seen these before. Can't wait for the Arctic Bat with the Chainsaw Man hand on it. So that's Python Patrol Bat, and I definitely dig the first one more. And I think the kicker for me is the robot parts on the first one are, metallic gray, like robot parts should be. And they're black over here. And, I think I definitely prefer this color scheme, the orange, the black, the silver, to this one over here. But it is a Bat. It is one of my favorite figures from the line. I love the sculpt work. I do love the accessories. I wish he had a battle damaged head. but I do like this chest plate too. So, you know, it's a worthy addition to the line, even though I'm a huge Bat fan. Honestly, I would probably skip this next time just because I'm not a super big fan of the color scheme. Python Patrol Cobra Viper. Now remember, this is my first Viper, so I'm judging this based on never seeing this figure up close before, right? So I definitely like the design notes here. I like the updated helmet, for sure. He does, articulation-wise, have a butterfly joint in there. You can't see it, obviously, because he's got the vests on, and everybody knows that's watching this channel. I do love the vests, but it does prevent you from getting that ab crunch, right? So there's no ab crunch on this guy. One thing I don't quite understand is what's going on with these legs. Like the yellow part goes down and it stops. And then like the inside, it continues. Like it's like these legs should be like this, like that. I don't quite understand. I don't quite understand that the original figure had the white stripe just down the outside, and obviously, you know, his leg is backwards at that point, but it's supposed to be like this clearly, but like there's no, it just cuts it off. It's like they put these parts on, or not even these parts. It's like they put the upper legs on backwards or something. I don't know. This is really a weird design choice, and this is the first time I've seen it. So maybe, you know, people have known about this for a while. Maybe the original figure's like that. I have no idea. But this does not make any sense to me whatsoever. So, I mean, I don't know. It does have that Python Patrol, you know, scale pattern that I really like. So I definitely dig that. And I definitely like the design notes of the figures. Another small thing that I noticed about the head is he's always looking down. Like you can't put the head up anymore. It looks like you can't put the head up anymore. So it looks like he's got no like chin. Like he's a chinless man underneath there or something, because the head won't go up anymore. So I don't know, that looks kind of off a little bit too. So there's definitely some design notes on here, and if all the Vipers look like this, then I'm glad I didn't get the 3-pack. Maybe I'll still get it eventually because I see it on sale once in a while, but I'm not super pleased with this figure. I really don't understand this leg pattern. It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I don't know. I definitely like the color scheme way more than the Bat. There's none of that maroon red. So you got the, you know, the black to the gray to the yellow, the scales on there. He's got the crimson red, you know, helmet, shield, visor. I don't know what you want to call that. So the design notes look really cool. I do like the paint job and everything on this one. Although it is a little sloppy, there's definitely some yellow paint, you know, splotching up on the gray that shouldn't be there. So the paint job is pretty darn sloppy on this one too. There's some yellow that's bleeding off of his legs too. So, you know, maybe they're skimping a little bit on this figure, these repaints, I guess. I really don't know. Let's take a look at the accessories while I think about this some more. All right, first things first, let's look at the backpack. And it looks pretty good. It's got paint details on it. It's got the Cobra logo painted, you know, yellow painted there. Again, the paint job is super sloppy. It doesn't go around the edge, so the edge is all black on everything. So you can definitely, I don't know, the quality is not very good. It's not quite there with this repaints, but I mean, the sculpt work is good. I like how the rope is a separate piece. It is a different color, so it does stand out quite a lot. So the quality of the backpack is pretty good. Again, paint job is very sloppy though. Here's the signature goggles, which don't make any sense either from a design perspective. Like what are these goggles giving him that his visor and his helmet's not giving him? I don't know. I don't understand. Is it to protect his eyes when he's traveling? But he's already got a visor covering his face. I don't know. Maybe it explains somewhere in the comic book why they wear something like this, but okay, that's it. Alright, handgun. Obviously, everyone needs a handgun. First rule of G.I. Joe, everyone needs a handgun. Second rule of G.I. Joe, everyone needs a knife. Third rule of G.I. Joe, everyone needs crooked shin guards. And then he's got his big old honkin' rifle. And yes, they had the laser blaster rifles in G.I. Joe, and I literally can't look at this without that laser noise in my head. It's ingrained in my brain, the G.I. Joe laser noise. And it does come with a clip like a lot of the other guns. So let's get it in there. Stay in focus, camera, please. Okay, I got it in there. It goes in there straight. So that's a good sculpt work on this gun. I don't think it's reuse. Oh, well, obviously it's reuse from the Viper. But I don't know if it's reuse for anything from that. Python Patrol Viper in all his glory. So he's a little boring accessory-wise. And, you know, some of the design notes don't make sense. These goggles were pretty hard to get on too. I don't know if you're supposed to take the head off and keep them around the neck. I don't think so. This is the way the original figure was. He had, you know, the goggles were sculpted on the helmet. But, you know, I do like the modernizations here. I love the vest. I do like the new helmet. There's some head issues. He's always looking down. I can't get the head to go back up a little bit. And he's light on the accessories. This is another one that's not my favorite on this episode. It's good to have a Viper finally, I guess. And I do like the colors, the overall colors, Python Patrol colors, just for the Viper specifically, not the bat. This looks very good color-wise, color scheme-wise. All right, like I said before, we're going to do these guys together. The twins, the brothers, Tomax and Xamot. And the only way to tell them apart is their uniform is semi-not symmetrical. But, you know, Tomax, the one over here, looks suspiciously like Tom Cruise. That's definitely Tom Cruise right there. Doesn't have a scar on his head. Xamot does have the scar on his face. So, you know, if you memorize that, you can memorize this too. But these costumes essentially are almost exactly like the first version figures. They hit all the design notes of the first figures and, you know, slightly modernized, but these two honestly aren't that modernized. I think they, you know, these could almost be retro-carded classic figures the way they look now. And the two brothers, to me, in the show, they were almost always not even in these uniforms. They were in like business suits and stuff like that, and, you know, disguises or something like that, doing something behind the scenes. So they weren't even always in these uniforms. But definitely, this is a good modernization of the first uniforms. The first uniforms, the big standout to me, is that ugly red crotch piece. It looks very funny on the first figures, and here it definitely looks more natural, I guess. It does look like a cobra opening his mouth. His crotch is a cobra opening his mouth. So, I mean, that's kind of funny, but, I mean, like I said before, if you look at the uniforms, they're completely the same. They're just opposites, right? So he's got the shoulder pad over his right shoulder. He's got it over his left. He's got this collar thing right there. Cobra symbols are reversed on them. But I definitely like the color scheme for sure. This is definitely, clearly, if you know about these characters growing up and you see these on the shelf, you know exactly who these are. Maybe you don't know which brother is which. Or which Mission Impossible movie this guy's going to star in next. And I know these two aren't the most exciting figures. Both of these guys, I think, are on deep discounts everywhere now. I've seen them as low as like $12 recently on Amazon or some stores, I think. So, you know, not the most exciting popular characters, but hey, if you need, you know, Tom Cruise head, if you're making a Mission Impossible figure, then buy up a bunch of them. Let's go. So I don't know, same basic G.I. Joe articulation. This shoulder pad is actually hooked to this. This is actually a loose piece, so you can take that off if you really want to. I don't know why you'd want to, but, you know, honestly, I wish these were a little bit more updated. These definitely could be retro-carded ones because they're so close to the originals. So I wish they were updated a little bit more. But like I said before, I don't mind having these in the collection. I never had them when I was younger, so I definitely do dig them. Another sort of design note, or not a design note, but it's sort of a complaint, is the chest. The chest, they did not match the paint with the plastic. As you can tell, that's definitely a different color in there. And it's come up on a few G.I. Joe figures so far. I wish they could do a better job on that. That looks pretty ugly. It's definitely a way different shade than just the neck, right? So you can definitely tell the different colors there. So, I mean, you know, it's definitely not perfect. Maybe that's why these guys are discounted guys. It's got two knife holders, because they do... We'll look at the accessories in a second. They both share the exact same accessories. Two knife holders. Yeah, it comes with a gun, and that's about it. Kind of plain Jane. Kind of, you know, a little bit boring. So that's why these guys went into the bargain bin quick. Each of them came with the same exact accessories, so I'm only going to show off one set, obviously. That would be boring to show off everything. But anyways, they do come with little daggers. And the little daggers do have paint on them, so that's good. That's a step in the right direction. So black handles, squiggly blade. I don't know the proper term for that. It's a squiggle blade. That's painted gray. I think it's silver, metallic silver. So it looks good. And they do come with a gun. The original figure just came with a smaller, handgun. And this is pretty similar to what they have. It does come with a suppressor, which is a second piece here. So the sculpt work is good. It comes with a suppressor, and it comes with an ammo clip right there. And that's what it looks like altogether. And it does look pretty similar to their first gun. The first gun was obviously very plain for their first figure, but it looks relatively similar to that gun. And it does look pretty cool. I like it. I dig it. All right, so Tom Cruise here and his brother Tim Cruise aren't exactly the most exciting figures. It's not a lot of accessories. They are kind of plain Jane. But again, I did not have them when I was a kid. I'm glad to have them now. I do like them. I would say wait and try to get them at a discount. Like I said before, you can find them at discounts places. So it's good to have 2 more members of Cobra leadership here for sure. And I really like the guns. I like the color scheme of everything. I always love Cobra's color scheme. I think the crotch pieces are better, even though they look like, snakes are, crotch snakes are gonna bite your head off. I don't know, maybe that's their secret weapon. I don't know. But, they're okay. Alright, so that's G.I. Joe Mass Unboxing, Part 5. There's some semi-cool figures in this episode. A revisit of Bat, my favorite figure in the line, although I'm not super happy with his paint job. And there's a lot of design issues with the Viper. Tomax and Xamot are a little boring. So I guess my favorite figure in this episode has got to be Outback. I mean, at least he looks pretty similar to his old Tiger Force variant, except, upgraded for the 21st century. So we're going to keep going. I got at least 2 more of these mass sort of unboxing episodes where I'll do, 4 or 5 figures per episode. The next episode I'm super stoked about because Sergeant Slaughter is there and Crocmaster and Fiona are there too. And I can't wait. So guys, gals, non-binary pals, yo Joe, and enjoy your plastic.